Played on the 1974 undefeated football team. And I went to St. Francis, played there for 4 years. My senior year as a captain there, graduated there from 1979. And in 1980, I actually got my first teaching job at a Catholic school in Portage at St. Joe's at that time. And then the following year went to Portage Elementary School, taught in the elementary for approximately 8 years. Started coaching as an assistant coach in 1980 at Portage for 8 years, moved on and actually went to Bishop Carroll for 2 years and on to St. Francis for 2, and then the Portage job opened, and I've been coaching at Portage ever since. Yeah, you know, when I first took over back in the like the early 90s, they only had like 23, 24 kids out for football. It was in pretty bad shape. You know, ever since then, you know, we've have on the average of 50 to 60 kids out. Actually, one time we had 75 kids on the team. It was our max for Class A school. And we put together a pretty good string of 3 or 4 football seasons in a row. And been in the playoffs for the last 11 years. Last year was the first time we didn't make it in the past 12 years. So, yeah, the tradition and what we've done, we put together a great football staff, former players that played here, and actually I coached. And actually I coached even Mr. Karenny, who was back in 1980, went on to play at Slippery Rock. So, and then Coach Burkett, who went on to play at Lock Haven. So all the guys that are on my staff are former members. So it's a close-knit family that really we work together through the summer and really know each other very well. Right, our stadium was built back in WPA, the working projects, and back I think it was the 30s or 40s, I don't know the exact date, but it was all hand stone that was put together when we preserved it through the years. It's actually a gorgeous stadium. There's a lot of history with it. I guess back in the days that the Pittsburgh Steelers were the Bulldogs at one time. Portage Bulldogs played them supposedly down at that field back in the 40s, and it was like a Steeler B team of some sort, but they played there. And there was semi-pro football teams that actually played in that stadium, so it has a lot of history. It goes back to the jointure, which was the borough and the township that came together and started to play there. Very disappointing. You know what? As a coach, when you're in it a long time, you can try to go back and reevaluate what went wrong. Did we take things for granted? Did we ride on the past of the past kids that were here and think that you're going to win because of your name, and it doesn't happen that way. I think the Westpac has come a long way with the competition and the level of football, and the coaching is better, and the competition's fierce. So when you're at a smaller school, we only graduate 65 kids, but this year we'll probably have 60 some kids on our team. You can't take winning for granted, and I think that's maybe what happened. But we went back to old school football this summer, and the traditional things we did when we first started with flipping tires and tug of war, and all those different types of things that makes you tougher. I think we need to get back to being tougher, meaner, and we're instilling that this summer, and our kids are responding. So we're going to be really young. We're probably going to start 3 or 4 freshmen that I think that have a great potential to be very good football players. And we've got some size back again. We were definitely a lot smaller last year than we ever were in the line. We're going to have 2 or 3 kids in like 270 range on the line and 240 at center, so we're much bigger than we were. They're going to be young, they're going to make their mistakes, but I can live with that because they're going to be back in 2 or 3 years or 4 years in a row. So I'm really anxious to see how this team responds. With youth, you're going to make mistakes, but I'll take mistakes that are made with a lot of heart and desire, so I can live with that. You know what? I was the athletic director when it first started, like 12 years ago, and the conferences came from the Appalachia, like the old Appalachian, and then the teams just got together, and the Somerset County and the 4 Cambria County schools, and it became a really good combination league-wise. And really like the competition of football. And District 5, they have a lot of champs in District 5 that move on in the playoffs and the state playoffs. And they produce some pretty good football players. So they've got great rivalries, and we really do. Wimber and North Star, and even inter rivalries, that we don't play, that we watch other teams play, that we get big crowds at our games, and it's a great atmosphere.
Well, just working hard ever since last season's ended, trying to condition ourselves because most of us have to play both sides of the ball, and I think for most of us we'll be able to tough it out. Well, most of us have been playing together pretty much our whole lives, and it's pretty much been the same kids, right next to you, and every once in a while you get a new kid coming in. That's always good. And pretty much, we're basically a family, and, we'll do anything for each other.
Well, last year I started out at outside linebacker for the first 2 or 3 games, and then by the time we hit Black Lick Valley, they moved me to defensive end, and I got some fullback reps. I like offense mostly, but everyone likes to hit people on defense.
Yeah, how come you like offense more?
Just having the ball and making plays. We've all been pulling our own to get better in the weight room, getting better conditioned, putting up more weight and everything, getting ready for next season. The biggest key for us this year is stick together and do everything how we should. We have the Keparts back from Bishop Carroll this year. You'll see Caleb Kepart either wearing 10 or 22, somewhere around the 24 maybe, and Cody Kepart will be wearing 34. We got new pants this year.
What is that? What color is that?
They're basic white with a green sash going down, and it's mesh, and that's about it for new stuff. I'd say the competition between us and Wimber is probably the best.
Are you guys playing them this year?
Yeah,
you're playing
week 7.
Sounds good.
Oh, he helps us out tremendously on both sides of the ball. On receiver, he'll tell you what to do to beat a DB every down, how to make it look like you're not trying. And when we're playing corner and safety and that, he'll just help us tremendously with reading things, doing tendencies that guys are going to not pick up, and just trying to win every down on defense. The past few weeks we've been working on releases, like man releases and zone releases, because you're not going to see too much man in the West Pack and the Lower Highlands, so we're looking on pressing the shoulders and getting our releases crisp and breaking guys down. What the linemen are doing now is what we do. For maybe the first 15 minutes or so, we'll do receiver, we'll work exactly on what we're doing, stance and starts, and then we'll go off our press releases and go off our man releases and that. Evan's coming in this year. We lost Jake last year. Evan has a good arm. I believe in him, and I think we'll be able to be all right because he's a dual threat quarterback. I think he can run and throw. So if we get him on the move, we'll have teams guessing. So you can either throw it to me, throw it to CW, or he'll keep it.